Hi, I want to talk to you today about why I don't believe in protest, but first check out my awesome blue hair. Is it cool or what? Wow. So long. Okay, I like to do wild things for my videos and I like lots of different wild looks. I mean, after all, one of the nice things about life is that you get to play and do things like dress up and stuff and have different experiences. So why not? There's nothing wrong with it. Okay, so I want to talk to you today about why I no longer believe in protesting. So I did protesting and I went to jail for it a couple times. And when you're in high school, you learn, oh yes, you're an American, you get to protest. Okay, really? So that's what the solution that they give you to our problems is you should protest? Well, let me explain to you what protest really is. Okay, instead of being in school and learning about electricity and learning how to garden and learning how to solve the world's problems and thinking, maybe we don't have to fight, maybe we can figure things out with each other and learn how to communicate. Okay, look, it starts when we're really young. It starts in preschool. When I was a daycare teacher, kids would do something and the teacher would say, don't do that. And the kid would say, why? And the teacher would go, because I'm bigger than you. Really? Okay, that just teaches might is right. And might is not always right. Might is just strength. It doesn't make it better or worse than anything else. It just means they're bigger and they have more guns or whatever. What the teacher could have done is say, well, we don't do it that way because of this. Can you think of a better idea? Maybe the kid does have a better idea. It could be considered. At least it engages the kid in trying to figure it out. And if the kid says no, then they can sit there and think, okay, well, I guess now I understand why that rule is in place, because if we don't stand in line, everyone's going to be shoving and kicking each other and nobody's going to get their treats. So I guess I have to stand in line. But what if they say, well, actually I have a better idea. Instead of having a line, why don't we do it like this? The teacher can at least consider it and say, great suggestion. That gets us in the mode of solving things and stuff like that. But no, what we get taught is might is right. And if you don't like it, you can complain. Because that's what a protest is. There's never any empowerment of us as individuals to actually create solutions or make ingenious inventions or ideas that maybe would make things better and stop people from fighting. Because what a protest is you, as a powerless individual, complaining against the people who have the power and are doing something that you don't like. Now, first of all, protest in and of itself I don't think is necessarily the best way to get things done, because you're taking people who are already doing and accomplishing something and nagging on them. You're not giving them a better way or drawing them or luring them into a new lifestyle. You're just saying, stop that. And they're going to be like, I'm not going to stop that. It creates resistance. Creates a barrier and a fight. And you know what the next thing it does? When you complain on them or just make them illegal or just try to regulate them or something, what are they going to do? Their lives are dependent a lot of times on these things that we don't like. That's how they live. So you didn't create a better world or a better scenario or something. You just said, don't do that. And they're like, well, what else am I supposed to do, MF? You paid my bills. You do this and that. Well, you didn't. You didn't do that. You didn't create an alternative for them. And what would be much better is creating an alternative that the people run to and even their customers run to until they're forced to go to it. Kind of like the record did with the CD. So now what I think is better than protest is creation. The CD did with the record. Creation is the biggest destructor in the world. It destroys everything you don't like. When you have a new creation, it demolishes the old stuff. Just overnight, almost. It's kind of scary. It actually can hurt people. But what's better is to create something. Okay, my inspiration for this was, and I'm always saying this, when the CD came in, I watched the CD wipe out the records. Records are now just a hobby thing. Now the internet has wiped out the CD. Now there's not even any CDs. It's like the technology just... So if you didn't like records and you were protesting outside the store, you could have been there 1,000 years, 100,000 years protesting that stupid record. But then one person came along and said, you know what, I don't think I want to get arrested. I think I want to do something a little more constructive. I'm going to make a CD, and then I'm going to ask these store owners that own record stores to come and sell CDs instead. And guess what happened? People liked the CD better, and boom, Done. In less than like a year or two. Over. So that's why I stopped believing in protest. I believe in creation. The other thing about, so protest as it's in and of itself is an ineffective tool, in my opinion, is way more ineffective than creation and invention. And easier, however. It's easy to sit there and complain and be angry. I completely get it. I'm totally in that mode right now because I'm so tired of things the way they are. Nobody's freaking listening to me. But anyways, I'm busy still trying to stay alive through heartbreak and everything and still work on my creations. I'm trying to create something amazing and lure people in. I want to work on, people's bills, anyways, I don't want to talk about this. You'll see. If you know me, you know what I want. I want a lot better world. So anyways, the other thing about protest is that you're literally, like what you're doing when you're protesting is you're just literally putting yourself up for grabs for the people in power. That you're like their subjugate and you're complaining like a kid complains to a parent. Well, blah, 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 blah. Well, the parent's going to come in and know exactly what you're thinking now. That's what happens to us. When you go to a protest, and I've been to many protests, the cops come around and everyone goes, oh, the cops are trying to intimidate us by taking our pictures and everything and getting our IDs. And I'm like, they might be trying to intimidate you, but actually I think what they're really trying to do is catalog your asses. The whole thing is a freaking setup. So now you get to go out there, and sometimes protests work, so it's what makes people, okay, I'm not going to say you shouldn't have a protest ever. Like, let's just say I heard in, where was it when the Russians came in? It was Hungary. This guy just told me these crazy stories about Hungary. I just couldn't even believe what they went through. And after the war, the Russians were just tromping through with guns and tanks and taking people's stuff and all this kind of stuff. And eventually they had no guns. The only thing they could do, they went out en masse to this giant protest, and one of them attacked a Russian, grabbed their gun. Now they had one gun, and they just had a bloody massacre. All the people died, but they had guns, and they started fighting the Russians, okay? They jumped on the tanks and covered up the tanks and waited them out and bashed them as soon as they came out of the tank and everything. Okay, sometimes when you're under oppression, yes, the only thing you can do is fight. I'm not saying nothing about that. It's true. It's very helpful, but when there's a better way, like when you're able to create something, even if you have to do it underground, do it. Do it. Get out from this oppression and create your stuff. Because what we're living under is like this oppression. So you go out there and you protest, and guess what happens? The police come out and they sit there with long-range cameras and they take your pictures behind cars. I had my picture taken many times. Then they come up to you and they go, what's your name? And then they try to arrest you and get your ID, or they try to just get your ID without arresting you, because they can say things like, well, if you don't have an ID on you, we're going to take you to jail, blah, blah, blah. I don't even know if that's legal, but they do it. They do everything they can to get your fingerprints, your face, and your identity. Well, why the heck are they doing that? Because I think it's a giant ruse. They just want to say you can go protest so that then the people that disagree with certain things go and protest, and then they can put you in a box and label you for the rest of your life and go down their little lists and go, well, this one doesn't like war. Well, this one's a freaking vegetarian. This one's gay, whatever. Now they can categorize everybody and they know a lot about you, and I just don't think it's real kosher. Plus, you're putting yourself up for risk because they can arrest you. And I didn't know that. I was so innocent. I'd never seen the videos of the 70s and stuff. I had rubber bullets shot at me. I thought I was dying because they were really painful. They feel like real bullets. I got arrested. I got sent to jail. And this one protest, we didn't even do anything. We were just standing around in the streets, and the cops attacked us. And the cops started beating the heck out of us, shooting us with bullets and everything, and dragged us to jail, and then pulled rigged trials and everything on the book that they could to get out of the fact that they just attacked us and we were just standing around like kids. Well, they do that. They actually do that. So you're putting yourself at risk. Why not make your life as good as you can and create the CD that's going to destroy the record? That's what I believe in now. All you're doing when you're protesting in a lot of ways is cataloging yourself with them. You're complaining, you're causing friction, you're causing fighting, you're not changing anything, you're being ineffective, and you're harming your own life. And some protests even harm the lives of others. You're not making a new way. Making the new way is going to lure people in. Just fighting, it's like, it's going back to elementary school. I'm right, you're wrong, because I'm bigger and I have more power and more might, and I have the righteousness on my side, and I have the this and the that, and because I'm might is right. You know, in a lot of cases in this world, the craziest part about this paradoxical world that I've learned is that sometimes there's no freaking answers, and there is no right and wrong. Both sides have a really good point. A lot of times both sides have really, really freaking good points. And nobody's really right. It's just a point of view, and then people suffering over the suffering here and not wanting certain sufferings to happen or wanting certain sufferings to happen, being selfish and not caring, and other people getting upset about that. And in a world that's kind of designed and built on sadism and suffering, the way this creation is right now, with all the animals and everything just viciously killing each other to live, it's really hard to say sometimes what's right and wrong. But what we can say is, maybe there's an invention, maybe there's a solution. You know, maybe one day poverty won't even exist. Maybe, I believe that, everyone can be rich. Maybe one day there will be no fights over abortion. The perfect birth control will arrive and just be installed from birth until you're ready to have a baby. On and on and on. I have a few solutions I've been working on like crazy. It's really hard. Let me tell you something. It's a lot harder to work on solutions in a world that just wants to fight and be right than just go protest. And I get it, because you got raised that way since birth. You got taught that in kindergarten and preschool by your teachers just saying, well, I'm bigger than you. And then you got taught that in high school and elementary school and everything, where they just said, go protest and complain against us. Ha ha, well, we catalog you. Nobody ever really said, let's create something new. And you know why? Because if you create something new, you could change the world. And you could accomplish your goals in a much more constructive way, in a furiously fast destruction of everything that you didn't like. That's why I don't believe in protest. I hope some of you can follow along, because I can't wait to see your brains, brilliant freaking brains, come up with things that make this world better. Thank you. Bye. Love you.